or gallery views up in the corner to have best viewing. Um, and I believe everybody here knows those little tools, so we can move on. But again, if you're on YouTube, make sure you leave in the comments when you're watching it, where you're from. We'd love to know that. And yeah, thank you. We're going to get this started here shortly. Setting up some technical stuff right now, getting it in there. It's so great as we've launched the junction with these new beginnings. We've been really focused on this, what that looks like. What's it look like once you started a new project, right? When you get in there, what keeps you going into those new projects? So as we unfolding these topics over the next month, it's cool to see what we're doing with it. And so this ebb and flow conversation, I'm really looking forward to being in it today with everybody that's here. I'm looking forward to seeing what Kathy brings to it. I've been bursting at the seams, getting so much out of this, just in preparing for it. So thank you, Kelsey, for bringing me to the junction. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. It's funny because when we first were sitting down together, Joshua and I, we kind of made a plan of like topics ahead of time. So it's really cool to see that we predicted that, you know, when you start something new, we bump up against something and it's not always smooth sailing. Sometimes there's ups and sometimes there's downs. And so without knowing it, plugging in ebb and flow has just been divine as always. And in preparing for it, definitely seeing that life is never linear and it's everywhere. So yeah, excited to bring on Kathy so she can really put on the court like her life and her ebbs and flows to really get that this is for everyone. And when you're up to big things, there are going to be ebbs and flows, and how can we embrace them? So thank you, Kathy, and I'm excited to hear your life and what you can bring so that you can share it for others to really just embrace their life too and get the fullness that life has. So yeah, so let's get started. We always start with the yoga nidra. So and oh no, we're going to start with our mission first. So no, we don't always start with the yoga nidra. So our mission at the junction is always to leave you inspired and empowered to make a difference in your life and those around you. And our intention each and every week is to experience a space for people to connect within themselves and with others, and to walk away transformed, empowered, and inspired. And this week's intention, before we get into our yoga nidra, is we're going to be creating a space so that you can see how you're connected to the all of life around you, to connect to the ebb and flow in all areas of life, and to experience the full range that life has to offer. So with that, we're all on mute, so that's good. And we'll start with a yoga nidra. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you. Yeah, if you're joining us, just take a moment, find a place that you can be comfortable in your seat or resting. You can turn off your camera if you'd like. If you'd like to close your eyes, you could. If you're listening to us on YouTube or you're listening to us somewhere else and you're driving, keep your eyes open. But if you feel safe to do so, go ahead and close the eyes, and we'll just take a moment, find yourself in your chair. You'll connect to whatever you're grounding into. And just take a moment to find your breath. You need to change it. Just notice your breath. You may notice that as you turn your attention to the breath, you begin to breathe slower. You just help that out. Take a long inhale, followed by a longer, slower exhale. Just breathing. Each breath getting a little longer, a little slower. From time to time, you might get distracted. Allow those distractions to help you get deeper into your meditation. You could stay here at the breath, or it serves you, maybe just find a place in your body that you feel at ease. Place you don't feel tension. Just feel relaxed in that part of your body. If you don't have it in your body, maybe a place in your life you feel relaxed. Just noticing it, noticing the quality of relax. Once you found that, just let that go, let it be there. Maybe allow your body just to scan through it. Maybe notice a place that's not relaxed. Maybe some tension, pressure. Again, welcome if you're just joining us. We apologize for the technical difficulties. Nina, go ahead.
Thank you. I had trouble finding the raised hand here, but I've since my husband and I have moved a little over a year ago, in discussions with people that are really struggling with life and that. Kathy, I was just wondering if you could make some suggestions if somebody was to share that they've felt that they've come to the end of their ebb, and what can we as listeners and someone that cares or loved ones, what could we do at the moment, in the moment when they're sharing that?
Thank you, Maina. And you said the number one thing that I would say is be a listener, right? And listen from a place of not wanting to respond, but place of just genuinely listening. Loneliness is such a big epidemic in our society right now, and a lot of people don't have somebody to really listen to them. And as we get older, and we have our friends and family, sometimes they die off or move away or whatever, that circle of influence gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I think being able to really listen to what's really going on, and being willing to be the person. If you hear somebody say, yeah, I really don't feel like I've got anything more to live for, all you have to say is, can you tell me more about that? And then shut up and just listen. Right? Rather than try and talk them out of, oh, you've got so much to live for. Oh, you've got this and this and this. You need to be turning that on its edge, and you need to be listening rather than being the one trying to provide advice, because they already have it within them. And sometimes just them hearing it come out of their own mouth will make a big, big difference for them. I hope that helps.
Thank you. It also points to that inside all of us, like there's an inner world, and often it's so hard to tap into. And so having someone else out there just being that sounding board for this to come out. And that goes for anyone at any time, really. Like when we're in our ebb and it's not easy to hear what's going on. It's convoluted, it's messy, there's multiple emotions, and it could be anything from, I'm starting a great project, but I'm starting to feel I'm insecure, and I'm starting to feel like, what if all of a sudden you're having thoughts you never even thought you'd have. And so it's like, it feels messy. The ebb can feel really tangled. And so having someone outside to just be that sounding board, to allow those emotions out, can really have us feel that freedom and then back into some sort of flow. And that flow could be anything from getting out of bed and brushing your teeth that day. Like it could be even different than someone else where they put their runners on and they went for their walk. Like those are all incredible accomplishments depending on where you're at in your stage of your ebb and your flow. Like everybody's life is different. There's no out there how it should be. It's everyone's life is uniquely their own journey, and so thank you for that.
Would you be able to put the swing slide up?
Yes.
As we've been talking about the ebb and flow this week, Kelsey and I, we kind of fell into this analogy of being on the swings, and the ebb and flow of swinging, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm on the playground a lot, and as I've been listening to you share, Kathy, about having that other person out there, and sometimes that other person out there, like you're not reaching out to them support, they're there supporting you. They know when you're down because you're showing up on that walk every day, and if you don't show up, they're coming to knock on your door, And it's around the swing set, I get to like help little kids swing a lot. I work in early childhood, and the other day I was talking to a friend about this kid who knows how to pump their legs. Like she doesn't need me to push anymore, and she's telling all the other 3-year-olds, "Pump your legs, pump your legs." And I'm telling my friend that, and she goes, "I was the one that taught her that." She goes, "She was so afraid of the swings when she first saw it. She wouldn't get on it. Like I had to get on it with her and do this and like be there. So now she's the one in there." Like it was like this whole process. And but like I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, you just need someone else to help you pump your legs, do this, go in there, like that outside force, and then you're swinging. You're dealing with all your ebbs and flows. You're going backs and forths, and the energy's going low. Oh, I need to do this now. Like, but it takes those external pieces. And Kelsey can kind of explain the slide there, but there's a lot that goes on in swinging. Like, you have to commit to be swinging. Like that's what we're doing now. Like I want to get higher. I want to do this. And but I also have to go back. Like I have to go low. I have to do that. I have to go in places. Like swinging isn't fun if it's always high. You have to go. That's that belly rush that you get when you go back up. It's the letting go piece. There's those pieces when like I'm a big guy, so when I get on a swing as an adult, it's like, am I gonna fall off? Like the feeling still doesn't go away, but like you let go of that, and you have to push yourself. There's these peak moments, and just that back and forth, and it's to get the momentum. You have to do these new things that don't come natural to you.
Yeah, and I love the swing analogy for the metaphor for life. You choose to sit and swing. So there's that like commitment piece, right? You're like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then you draw back with everything you got, because the more you armor yourself, hopefully the higher you get, and you let go and you do the thing. And with that momentum alone, you can have a good ride. Like you can get back and forth and do great. But eventually, without any sort of extra action, the swing will eventually come to a stop. And so how do we continue with this momentum? Is we add action, we pump our legs, or we can get some help. We can get someone. Every parent knows come push me, and then there's the parent giving them the push, giving them the support and getting them higher. And that's a metaphor for cheerleaders in your life who are, giving you, and if you can get the underdog, those people that like, they give you everything they got and you just get to ride, like that's what support feels like, is that extra oomph, and inevitably as high as you high, it's not lasting, and that's okay. Like the peak isn't the destination. The peak is the peak where you're at right now, and enjoy that floating feeling. And when you come down, enjoy the ebb back. There's an ebb to allow us to retreat, to regenerate. That's the word, rejuvenate, and all the re's, relax, rejuvenate, and really get yourself back into preparation for the next round again. Like the ebb is there to help us heal, relax. If you've ever been to the gym, you work those muscles so hard. They don't grow at the gym. They actually muscles get torn at the gym and they get rebuilt on the rest. So without that rest and recovery, the growth won't happen. You keep pushing those muscles, they'll get fatigued and you're actually doing a disservice. So the ebb is there. And when you hit the bottom, there's a moment we hit bottoms in life, and know that because we are in ebb and flow in life, there is no stall in life. It really is. That ebb will come and bring you in, and it's for you to embrace. The more we resist the ebb, the more likely we're going to not be able to find our flow as effortlessly. So when you are sick, it's okay to relax and call and say, I have to cancel my commitments because I am not well. And by giving yourself full permission, let go of the guilt, let go, and be in your ebb, you are giving yourself the gift of what the ebb is for, so that you can then see yourself clear into your flow. And it really is a cycle. There is a metaphysical law called the law of rhythm. And it says the law of rhythm states that everything is cyclical. And this is my favorite part. Change is always around the corner. So even if you're in the ebb, you won't stay there forever. You can't. It's not how we're designed in this life. And so knowing that always around the corner is something, and I love to say there's magic and miracles always around the corner.
And the corner might be like 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get in those big cycles, like that ebb might be a really big ebb. I think that's a good thing. And I've had to learn that being around personal growth and development. They're like new, now, today, like in the present. It's like this cycle might take a few years to go through, and that's okay. It might take more mental health. It might take more pushes or more whatever. But like knowing that it's coming, like just being in this, like that's a great thing I've gotten out of this week of looking at ebbs and flows. It's like, just go through it. Like keep reading. We've talked about spoons theory. Like I don't have the energy to call my friend today, but I'll eat my food and I'll take my rest because tomorrow I might have it. It's coming.
Mm-hmm. And we can have ebbs and flows in just our day, right? We might have some people have a real big flow in the evening, or some might have it all in the morning, and their ebb comes at around 2, and it's just like they're wiped. And, so experiment with embracing that ebb moment. And like, how can you really like turn off life for a bit so that you can sink into your ebb, and then just watch how your body and all around you will then pull you into your flow. Like, so it can be just micro ebbs and flows in the moment. Darcy, you have your hand up.
I do, thank you. Will that go away then on its own?
I did that. Oh.
The hand?
Yeah. Or Joshua's got you.
Oh, thanks. No, this is a fascinating conversation. Like this, to me, this is like the beginnings of a self-help book or like a self-help talk, like what Brene Brown does, the ebbs and flows of life.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're just laying it out just so succinctly, and yeah, I think this is great, and I think this should be your thesis for your PhD.
Right.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. This is a good conversation.
Thank you,
Darcy. I'm right there with you because I was saying I have the book on my shelf called Flow, but no one's writing the book called Ebb. Like no one's saying like steer into the ebb, steer like put full pedal to the metal into the ebb. Like, but they're like go flow.
Well, that's part of our what do they call that in partnership? The context that we're living in. What do we call that? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I'll get it at 1 a.m. and I'll call each of you.
Yeah, you just text us.
Yeah, my memory flow is not right now.
Yeah. So, that's just a function of our, the context we're living in, which is, no, I don't have time for the ebb. All right. Just tell me how to get in the flow. Yeah. But it's like, no, the ebb is part of the process.
Yeah.
It's all a process.
Yeah. And it fits right into next week's topic, which is acceptance. And it really is like, is the ebb, we don't like it. We love flow. Who doesn't like easy? Everyone likes easy. And, but there's so much gold in our ebb. And I think we're just all in the infancy of it. Like of really all of us as a human, like species, really, like we have to change it started with 4-hour work week, and people laughing at it. Right. And it's like, no, but really like they're the ones that were hacking the machete saying, no, guys, there's another way. Who said we had to work Monday to Friday? And that Saturday is getting your lawn done so that you could kind of rest on Sunday. Like, but we're even going in the weekend. Like there's no stop. And so, like changing the context for how humans like take on and embrace and like, let's not guilt each other for calling in on sick or like is celebrating. Like I'm looking at my grief and like I celebrate anyone who will look at their grief and be with these challenging emotions. Like they're doing the work and it's not easy and it's against the grain so many times. So, and because of our YouTube glitch, I think we're going to go 5 minutes over for those on YouTube so that we can make sure we get everything we want to say today in, if that works for everybody. Awesome. Okay. So let me put up another slide here. So some of the inquiry questions we thought of is to be able to bring this into your week. It's great that we're having this conversation, but what I'm really hoping for is that it lands somewhere in you so that tomorrow morning, somewhere, sometime, something will happen and you'll be like, there's my access to my ebb. And so starting now, if you were to look at where in your life are you currently in flow? Where is it easy? Right now, I have to say for me, when I first moved to BC, it took everything in my power to take my dogs for a 1 kilometer walk. I would go halfway and turn around and come back. And I remember it would be weeks where I just would be like, I'm at 0.3 and I'm like, oh, I just want to turn around. Like there was something in me. It's just like, because it was not a habit I had. And I missed having a backyard with a fence that I could just let the dogs go so I could do things that I wanted to do. But taking them for a walk was a commitment that I started. And it was really difficult. And now a year in, I can say, I don't even think about it. The dogs even know where we turn around. Like we just go to the tree and then they look at me and they turn around and we walk back. Like there is no resistance whatsoever. Because I've hounded it in me for a year. But that was an ebb at one point for me, for sure. And so when I can look at the flow I'm in currently, the next question is, where were the ebbs of that flow? And it brought me right back to last year where I was like, man, I would like halfway it and be like, really? Like it was a thing. So celebrating now, it's a flow. I don't even think about it. It is totally in my paradigm now to do that. So I'm celebrating that. And then where are the ebbs right now? What ebbs are you currently experiencing? And then what are you gleaning from your ebbs? So really appreciating right now that, there are the things that are difficult, but they're there for you. And how can you change that context for yourself to see that this isn't a speed bump that you have to get over. This is something to embrace because there's something there for you. And so that's some inquiries. Anything you want to, Josh wasn't there. Okay, no problem. Before we do homework. So Kathy, what are you working on now? Like, where's your flow right now for you?
Thank you. So my flow for me is now that I have written these workshops on leadership, and I had this thought that it would be really, really difficult to do it. It was a challenge, but I realized that it's easier than I thought. So my next step is wanting to write workshops on grief and help people through discussing workshops, maybe even retreats on grief. And I think I needed the piece around leadership first. to have the confidence that, yeah, I can do this stuff about grief because I know a lot about it. And now I know how to write workshop, put them together. So that's what that ebb was for me. And I can just feel the flow is going to come with this new project I want to take on.
Perfect. And it really does illustrate too that sometimes we don't get the big picture up front. We get our steps, and that's all we have to be in search for is what inspired step am I looking for, and do that step, because the big picture is yet to be revealed. You would never know at 2013 that you would be doing a leadership course that was not meant to be. It was write your book. Just write your book and go through what you need to go through for your book. And the next piece will come when it's time. And I love that. And then
Thank you. And can I just add in that I love what Darcy said about, going on media and stuff like that, because I'd love to do what you guys are doing. I'd love to have, YouTube, podcasts, whatever, to share this conversation about grief and about suicide. So thank you so much for having me on today.
This is so great. Yes, thank you. And then our final piece is our homework. And then after that, we would love to hear from two people, like what you've got out of today. And so start thinking of that and raise your hand. So our homework for this week, if you choose to take it on, is really lean into your ebb, be with it. And then look at opposite feelings and embrace them. So are you kind of saying no to things lately? All right. What if you said yes? Try it on, find the range. And then where can you grow your mindset? So if we have a stuck mindset, sometimes we can kind of stay in our comfort zone. So how can you grow your mindset? And then swing high. Love that. Thank you. So yeah, I'd love to hear from what you've got out of being here this Sunday morning. And welcome, Susie. Darcy, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a coughing dog next to me here. So if he starts coughing, I'm just going to mute, okay?
Okay.
So my biggest takeaway, and it's so weird, I had the whole thing formulated in my mouth, and then he started coughing, and it's gone. No, it's the getting present to, okay, is this an ebb? How bad of an ebb is it? Am I ebbing up to my ankles, or am I up to my waist here?
Yeah.
And then, just being okay with being with that, that is just how things are at this moment. A few weeks ago, I didn't get paid twice. So that's a lot of money. And so I had been calling, leaving voicemails, and then finally some guy called back and said, yeah, I'll work on it. And of course, it was a Friday afternoon. I thought, okay, he ain't going to touch this till Wednesday. But Monday morning, boom, first check was in my account. And then on Wednesday, the next one came through. So, yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to distinguish, this is just part of the ebb.
Yeah.
Yeah. No need to panic.
Yeah. And I think it gives freedom too, because then we can go into there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And no, not necessarily so. Just, yeah. And the more we can be with, so there's something wrong means I don't like the reality that I have right now. I want it to be different. And so,
or the reality I'm interpreting right now.
Yeah. And so by being with what's so can give us that access to really just being with it, and be some freedom there.
And, sometimes maybe that's all that's required is just to be with it, to not have to manage it or change it or fix it. Right.
Yeah. Being in control. I have to control this moment.
Yeah.
And what if you let go? What's available? Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
So
yeah.
that's my takeaway.
Thank you. No, that's
Thank
great.
you.
Awesome. And always we love to end off with gratitude and our and creating a word of the week, something that, especially once we've been here for an hour, things you might have thought, felt, creating in this moment right now, and declaring what that word is, like a word that really inspires you, can then be your anchor for this upcoming week. And I'm going with magic and miracles because it really is. It always lights me up. Light me up. So, Kathy, what is your word of the week that you're creating?
I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm going to choose hug the ebb.
Love. Well, thank you everybody for coming this Sunday. Thank you, Joshua, for always having my back, and love. And thank you, Kathy, for really sharing your life and sharing your message. And I really hope this reaches who needs to hear it, and so we can make a difference in the area of suicide. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful Sunday. See you next week.
Great job, Kelsey. Great job, Kathy. Great job, Joshua.
Thank you, everyone.
Great job, Darcy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll see you guys on Thursday.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye.
Darcy.
Bye.
See ya.